For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome again to the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. Glad you are along today. Coming up this next Tuesday is November the 2nd, and there's going to be an election only in one municipality that we cover. That's in the city of St. Clair. There's no elections going on in Marine City, Cotterville Township, East China Township, or St. Clair Township. The one that is in the city of St. Clair is a simple little ballot. It's only one page. It's got 2 items on it, and or I guess there's 3. Yeah, there's 3, actually 3 items. But I'm going to not stumble through it. I'm going to go back to some authorities who have good information on it, and that's the mayor of the city of St. Clair, Bill Cedar, and the city manager, Warren Rothy. They did an interview with us a few weeks ago, and we're going to repeat that now, and then urge you to go on out and vote this coming Tuesday, November the 2nd. Well, we got another set of guests that are really working very hard to make things happen in the city of St. Clair, the city superintendent, and the Honorable Mayor, Mr. William Cedar. Bill Cedar, welcome to the Focus Up. Welcome back to the Focus Up. Warren, why don't you start out and tell us what we're doing here?
Sure, Paul. Thanks for having us on your show today. On November 2nd, that's Tuesday, the first Tuesday in November, we have an election in the city of St. Clair. And the only thing that's going to be on the ballot are 3 amendments to the city charter.
Wow.
Now,
no big lineup of candidates?
No candidates or anything, just 3.
No tax increases or decreases, just 3 items.
Just 3 textual changes to the charter. We're here to talk to you about all those today. Real quick before we start with proposal number 1, just wanted to say that the charter can be viewed as the city's constitution.
Okay.
You know, it's the basic framework that organizes, the powers and the checks and balances. And then we have the code of ordinances, which is all, the specific laws like no littering and things like that. So we're here to talk about the charter today.
It's not a very big document, but it's been around. This one says 1980. Revised in 1989, so it's been with us for quite a long time.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The charter in its current form was adopted and effective January 1 of 1980, so it's 41 years old.
Okay, and so you're going to make a couple changes to it.
Well, we're asking the voters to think about what they think about their government and how it should be
So you have to bring this kind of thing, you've got to bring before the voter.
Absolutely. All of these ballot proposals, the city council voted on to put forth on the ballot. So the city council needs the people to tell them what to do. Yep.
It's okay or it's not okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, we got up on the big screen here the ward system as it currently sits. Talk to me about it.
So the city's divided into 3 wards. First ward is basically you take Vine Street and go north, and then second is between Vine and Clinton Avenue. The 3rd ward is everything south of Clinton Avenue. That's the basic structure of it.
Okay.
And in the charter under city council, it talks about eligibility to run for city council. And B, on page 3 of the charter, just says only registered voters of the city shall be eligible to be a candidate for and hold the office of council member.
Okay.
You have to be a registered voter. So to be a registered voter, you have to be a resident of the city.
Okay. Any one of the 3 wards?
Anywhere in the 3 wards.
Okay.
Also, Part D of that very same section 2.01 says that 2 council members shall be elected by the registered voters in each ward.
Okay.
So for years, we've just gone to the polls. We vote for 2 people in each ward. And then some council members started to move out of their ward. So we asked for a legal interpretation from our lawyer. Is that okay? The lawyer's opinion was that's fine. Some council people felt that's not the intent, that's not what was meant. Others felt what is written is what the intent was. If you tell us the legal opinion is that you can live anywhere in the city, that's the legal opinion. Okay. So we decided that maybe it's time to let the voters decide. So if we want to go right to the blood and guts of democracy, the voters decide.
Right.
Okay. So the question is going to be, shall you be required to live in the ward that you represent?
Okay, if Sam will throw up that first proposal, I'll read it for you. Section such and such of the City of St. Clair be amended to require the effective that effective at 12 midnight January 1, 2023, a ward representative to the City Council be at all times a resident. Oops, don't go back to the other one. There, no, the word Y. Be at all times a resident of the ward he or she represents, provided that should any ward representative be placed in a new ward by the reapportionment process described in such and such a section, said representative shall be allowed to finish his or her current term. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So that's the choice.
So where it gets a little, I don't think dicey is the right word, but it's the only one I can think of right now. So let's say I live in the 3rd ward.
Right.
Halfway through my term, I move into the 2nd ward.
Right.
Okay. Currently, that person can serve. Okay. What this will do, will say, at all times a resident of the ward. At all times. So if I move out from the 3rd to the 2nd, I'm done.
Right.
Unless,
you'll be replaced.
Unless it's due to the census. If the census does that to me, you can finish out your term. So the thought was, let's let the people decide.
Right.
So when you go to the polls on November 2nd, if you want your rep to have to live in the ward that you live in, that they want to present, you have to vote yes on that proposal.
Correct.
Okay.
If it doesn't make any difference to you,
yeah.
Now, vote no.
If you feel this way, and there are people who are on both sides of this thing.
Right.
Okay. If you think that you live in the 2nd ward, but you have someone who lives across the street from you who lives in the 1st ward, or down 2 blocks or whatever, and you've known this person for 10 years and you like them, you trust them, and you want to vote for them, and they run in your ward, even though they live in a different ward, do you want the right or to be able to have the choice to vote for them?
Yeah.
If that's the case, then you need to vote no on proposal 1. Was that too wordy?
No. It just the whole thing is confusing. But basically, the proposal is asking the voters, if you want somebody to live in your ward and represent you in that ward, you vote yes.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make any difference to you,
vote no.
Vote no.
Maybe an example will help. In the last election, Mitch Kufa lived in the 2nd ward.
Right.
But he ran in the 3rd ward. He won big in the 3rd ward. And some people say, well, that's democracy. You let the people choose. If they didn't want him, they wouldn't have taken him.
Right.
Now other people say, no, he should live in that 3rd ward. So that's what we're asking the people.
Okay.
Do you want him to have to live in the 3rd ward, 2nd, whatever ward?
Right.
Or is it okay with you if he lives 6 blocks away but runs in your ward, and you have the choice to say, nope, don't want him, or yes, we want him? Okay?
When you were in another life, when you were a teacher, you taught democracy. You taught school elections and stuff. Did little questions like this come up in the classroom?
This is a new one. We sent this to the state for review, and they actually told our lawyer, this is so unique. The guy was like, this is so interesting. Please let me know how this turns out. Did I miss anything on this?
I don't think so. I think you did a good job explaining what the question addresses and what each side and what your decision will be.
Yeah, I mean, some people, there's the opinion,
Yeah.
I want them to live in my ward. There's an opinion, look, at geography shouldn't determine who I get to vote for or not vote for.
Right.
My thing is simply, let's let the people decide. That's what this is all about.
I
So
agree.
let them decide, go to the polls November 2nd. No, we continue as is. Yes, they have to live in that ward, and if they move 3 months after election and they move across the street and they're out of your ward, they're out.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good. All right.
All right.
Very good.
Okay.
Mr. Rothy, you've got a couple items on the ballot too. Talk to me about those. Those are more regarding budgets.
Yes, that's correct. So we have proposal number 2 and proposal number 3 go hand in hand with one another. And if a majority of voters vote yes on both, they become effective. But if one of them gets a majority yes, one of them gets a majority no, they're not effective. And the reason is because we're trying to accomplish one goal, but we have to amend 2 different provisions to accomplish that goal.
And this is, again, goes back to the charter, right?
Yes, and again, these are more charter amendments.
Okay.
So the goal essentially is under the current charter, the budget adoption timeline is, well, I'll use the word unique, meaning not a lot of other cities do it this way. And what I mean by that is that in March, department heads have to submit their budget requests to me, and then I have to give the city council a proposed budget in May. Now, normally, if we had a June fiscal year, where fiscal year ends June 30th, begins July 1, this is the perfect time frame for that. But in St. Clair, our budget doesn't become effective until October 1. That's
October 1.
That's
Okay.
the first day of our fiscal year. We're about to close our current fiscal year, start a new one next week. And this is contrary to a lot of other cities, Port Huron, Marine City, Marysville, Algonac, you name it. Normally the budget adoption time and creation process starts closer to the end of the fiscal year rather than halfway through. For example, when my department heads are figuring out their budget, it's due by me to the first day of March, which means they're in February and they got to figure out what am I going to spend next year. Well, we're only 4 months into the fiscal year. They don't even have a clue what their projects are going to, we haven't done bids on our road projects. That's normally done, March, April. We don't have those prices. When we have union negotiations, those normally take a long time, and they're always tied to the beginning of a fiscal year. And so I feel like, when we're trying to manage and be fiscally responsible, being able to, move the budget, implementation process closer to when it's actually going to begin, we'll have more information on the previous year and can make better decisions going into the next year. So that's kind of the big picture on why we're seeking voter approval to amend this process. Again, we're going to make it in line with best practices and closer to the true beginning of the fiscal year.
Governments have a different time than humans, than real people. I mean, our budgets are normally January 1 to December 31st. Why are governments different?
Well, it all depends on, it's a thing that has to be in the city charter. So people have to get together when they create these charters and decide what's our fiscal year going to be, what's the budget adoption timeline is going to be. Again, I can't speak to why it was set up this way again 41 years ago, but this is how it was done. And like I said, it has been unique. It's been working, but I feel like there's ways we can, make it better. And again, 'cause I always like to say when I'm presenting to the city council, the more informed I can make them and we can make our voters about any matter, when it comes to spending money, the better it is. And I believe that city administration can give the best information if we adopt these amendments, which again will just change the timing of things. So we can go through them now.
Okay, so proposal number 2 on the ballot, the section such and such of the St. Clair Charter will be amended to require that an effective date of January 1, 2020, the date for all city officers and department heads to submit a proposal to the budget to the city superintendent be changed from March 1 to June 1. Simple request. The date for the city superintendent's completion of the budget for the city council approval shall be changed from the first Monday in May to the first Monday in August. That seems pretty black and white.
Yes.
Simple.
So it gives the department heads more time to go through the fiscal year, implement their current projects, and then gives them more information to figure out, okay, what am I going to need at year end? What am I going to need next year? Again, so that's moved from March to June.
Okay,
Council is still going to get the budget ahead of time. They're going to get it the first Monday in August, which is full 2 months before October 1 fiscal year beginning. So the council and the city will have 2 months to fine tune everything, review it, and approve it.
And that's a simple yes or no.
Correct.
Okay, so then in proposal 3, one moment please. There it is. The same section such and such, the St. Clair City Charter will be amended to require the effective January 1, 2022, the date of the adoption of the balanced budget for the next fiscal year by City Council will be changed from June 15th to September 30th. So, but your new budget will start October 1.
Correct.
So this is moving it closer.
Yes, so this is moving the adoption date from June. Again, not currently we adopt the budget in June, but it doesn't start until October.
Yeah.
So in those few months, things change, and sometimes the budget's already kind of, oh, we got this big grant we weren't expecting, or oh, we had a bunch of major repairs, so we had to amend accordingly. So this will just again move that timeline to the City Council. Again, has to have a budget adopted before the end of the current fiscal year and the start of the new one. Simple
Pretty
as
cool.
that.
Did we miss anything here? I think we covered it pretty well. Any other final thoughts?
No, again, I hope everybody comes out to vote. It's always important to vote. We see that.
And you can vote absentee.
Yes.
You can vote by mail, any way you want. But it'll be the 2nd of November.
Correct.
And the polls will be open in all 3 wards from 7 in the morning until 8 at night, I believe.
I don't know the exact hours. That sounds about right.
Yeah, okay, very good. Your Honor, have you got any final thoughts?
We're good.
Things are moving along. City is rolling along.
A lot going on.
A lot going on. Lots of good things.
Flu clinics.
Say again?
Flu clinics.
Flu clinics, right. You got to have those. That's right. Keep everybody healthy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for
Thank you.
coming in. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.